Hello and welcome to this course of CodeBot for SAP SuccessFactors. This lesson is focused on company admin training. If you have not logged in yet, you'll receive an invite to the platform in your email. This invite will have a link to CodeBot, a username, which is almost always your email address, as well as an initial password. We utilize multi-factor authentication via a mobile device application. Scan the QR code in your multi-factor app, which is most commonly Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, and follow the prompts to get into the platform. If you're having any trouble logging in, we can help you. Please reach out to our team. Once you've logged in, you'll see our home screen. On the upper right, you can toggle between two different versions of our home screen. Then, under your profile, you can change some basic settings, including your time zone. We suggest you change your password from that initial password that you received in the email, and you can do so here. You can also keep other MFA keys here if necessary, but you can mostly ignore that for now. There will be a separate video dedicated to the basic platform navigation. In this video, we're just focused on the admin side. So at the bottom left-hand navigation window, go to the admin dashboard. Let's start with instances. Now, it's most common for us to do each of these steps with you on a call the first time you add an instance. So feel no pressure to do these steps on your own, but we'll show you the steps. In the Add Instance window, you'll start by selecting the company. There is almost always just one option in this dropdown. Then select the instance category. There is an SAP NetWeaver for payroll, an SAP BTP for integrations, but again, ignore these for now. Just select the SAP SF for a standard SuccessFactors instance. Select the host address. This is the data center or the beginning of the URL after you've logged in. You can start typing into this window to make a faster selection. Then add the IIS instance. Be sure to cut it off after .com or .sap. The instance title is what you'd like to call this instance. The instance ID has to be the exact company ID from your SuccessFactors instance. Leave SF username, suser ID, login via provisioning, and use proxy server blank or to no or to NA. Is SSO enabled should be checked if you are going to use SSO via IIS. If you enter a password to access your instance, you can leave that as no. In general, if you have IIS, we recommend utilizing SSO. It is a better end-user experience for CodeBot users, as password errors are the most common type of errors. This also allows you to use the scheduler if you enable SSO. Auth client key LMS can be left blank. Auth SF user ID is the user ID or person ID of the CodeBot API user that you've created. If you haven't done the instance prep yet, please reach out to our team for instructions to prep the instance. Essentially, you just need to create a CodeBot API role, user, and group, and grant it the necessary permissions. For the client secret key and private key, we will log into the instance. Go to Manage OAuth 2 Client Applications and select Register Client Application. In the application name, write CodeBot, application URL, https://sfcodebot.com, description, API access for CodeBot. Click Generate X.509 certificate, and then the common name is typically CodeBot. Click Download. It's very important to click Download before moving on from this screen, and then click Register. Then click Edit and copy-paste the API key into the client secret key in CodeBot. Open the download with Notepad or TextEdit and copy the first paragraph after begin private key and paste that entire first paragraph into the secret key in CodeBot. Now enter the same CodeBot API user that you have in the SF API username and then add the SAP SF password for that user in the password window. Note, sometimes the person ID and the username are different, so pay attention to that. And then additionally, this is not the IIS password. This is the instance password. So even if you utilize SSO, it is most common that you'll need to change that password in reset user passwords in the instance. Now test both the OData credentials and the SF API credentials. If either test fails, retry some of these steps. If you get another failure, go ahead and submit the form anyway, and then let our team know, and we'll help you with a troubleshooting session. To configure IIS SSO, please see our help desk article that has step-by-step instructions as well as the latest IDP config attachment at the bottom. Log into the IIS admin, go to Identity Providers, Corporate Identity Providers, and then create a new one called CodeBot. Then, under SAML 2.0 configuration, add the CodeBot metadata file and save. Be sure that the signing options are all checked as on down below. Next, go to Applications and Resources, Applications, Bundled Applications, and find the instance, and then make sure that Trust All Corporate Identity Providers is enabled. You may also need to give us the entity ID as well as the IIS entity ID. To get the entity ID, go to the IIS admin window, Applications and Resources, Bundled SF Instance, SAML 2.0 config, and then copy that entity ID. The IIS entity ID is under Applications and Resources, Tenant Settings, Single Sign-On, SAML 2.0, and then copy the issuer ID. Now let's run a test action in the instance to make sure that the instance is connected correctly. Go to the instances in the admin dashboard and then share the instance to yourself. And then in the admin dashboard, select users, then in the actions, select permissions. Then go to instances and then add new allowed users, select the company, the user, the instance, and then add your SuccessFactors user to your own CodeBot user account. This is the user that the bot will log into the instance as to run actions. Then under modules, go to Employee Central, add the instance, add a new workspace in the line down below, select your user, and then in the description, write event reason test. You may also need to check that you get access to the workbook itself. That may require logging into Microsoft or Google. The first time that you try to access the workbook typically is a little bit challenging. Each time after that, you can typically get straight in. Perhaps try to share the iteration if you are still having trouble. Click the hamburger menu, select Generate Workbook, and then close the pop-up. If you're using SSO, you can leave that checkbox checked. If not using SSO, enter your password there. Enter an execution note, usually just test for this first sample. Select the event reasons, and then confirm and start. As the action takes place, click the eye icon to see the latest updates of the action. While we wait, we can go ahead and add a user as well. Under users, you can add users as either general users or company admins. The difference is simple. General users don't have access to anything in the admin window, primarily the reports, editing, or creating users and instances. The most common mistake in this part of adminning CodeBot is not sharing the instances to the users, so be sure to do that step. Once a user has been created, you can edit that user's permissions to various modules or actions, take away or grant a module using the slide bars. The action underneath each slider can be granted or taken away with the checkbox. What's most common is to simply select all. Under instances in the user permission section, you can select add new allowed users. This section enables the company admin to force a CodeBot user into a particular SAP SuccessFactors user. Simply select the user and multiple select the instances and then type the SF username. You can have multiple SuccessFactors user per CodeBot user if necessary. This is a critical security feature. This is how you ensure the audit trail is consistent from SAP SuccessFactors through to CodeBot. Finally, let's bounce back to that event reasons test that we ran for the instance. Select the eye icon, and in the tracking request ID, once you get to a third line that doesn't have an error yet in the details, then you can validate that the bot has logged into the instance successfully, and we are all done. If you get an error in this phase, please reach out to us and we'll help. All right, that's all the essential tools for the company admin and setup meeting. Again, we'll cover all of this with you during those calls, but wanted to give you all of that documentation in one convenient resource. Please reach out if you have any other further questions, and thank you so much for watching.